And then they took the gods of Ghana. Do you understand? They took the gods of Ghana and sent them to Britain and took them to Britain. Right, just a few years ago, you know what they've done? They've told Ghana, we can give you back your gods on loan. So you see what witchcraft is. You see, the pronunciation of cases has nothing to do with this big witch in Pumalanga, this big witch in Chipinge. No, it comes out of your mouth. Cases are released by the words that you speak. And the level of wedding and the power that backs that wedding makes you a witch. But I want to start somewhere so that you understand how deep Africa has been affected. Notice here, the British people came to this country, came to Africa, and gave us a free Jesus. We don't pay. We get Jesus. We have this free Jesus. And then they went to areas that were sacred to Africans and collected the gods of Africa, took them to America, took them to Britain. In the museum of Britain. Do you know right now? Let's get to Zimbabwe. Do you know where Mbuya Nyanda's bodies? Kaguvi's bodies? Britain, sir. Why is it that the white people saw it necessary to give us a free Jesus and took our gods? And then they took the gods of Ghana. Do you understand? They took the gods of Ghana and sent them to Britain and took them to Britain. Right, just a few years ago, you know what they've done? They've told Ghana, we can give you back your gods on loan.
Britain is returning a selection of looted Ghanaian gold regalia to the country in a historic loan deal set out on Thursday. Some 32 objects from London's British Museum and Victoria and Albert Museum were looted from an Asante king in the 19th century. The partnership with the Ghanaian Museum comes after Asante King Otumfo Osei Tutu II visited London last May to attend the coronation of King Charles. They will be loaned to the Mania Palace Museum in the city of Kumasi under 2 separate 3-year agreements and are set to form part of the Ghanaian King's Silver Jubilee celebration later this year. The museums acknowledge the, quote, cultural, historical, and spiritual significance of the objects, but some museums say they are banned by law from permanently returning contested items in their collections. Greece has repeatedly called for the return of the 2,500-year-old Parthenon sculptures housed at the British Museum that were taken from the temple by a British diplomat in the 19th century. The museum's trustees have said they would consider a loan to Greece if Athens acknowledges its ownership of the sculptures, which Greek governments have refused in the past. As for the Ghanaian gold, associate professor at the University of Ghana, Obadele Kambon, told Reuters the return is, quote, monumental, but that there's still a battle to fight for the true and proper restoration of our dignity and of all the things stolen, not loaned back to us.
Things that I've seen in the exhibition room.
Nikwate Owu is a Ghanaian filmmaker who had the rare opportunity of seeing looted artifacts from different African countries by the British. He didn't believe what he saw when he entered the basement of the British Museum some 50 years ago. Among the treasures he saw were those stolen from the Asante's palace when the British demolished the royal palace with explosives and stole ornaments during the 1874 Sagrenti War.
It was like a time travel. When I left the office of the curator and we went downstairs into the basement, 50 feet under the ground, when we landed in the basement, the aroma of our ancestors, I'm talking about all these artifacts that has been hidden. There's an aroma that, came and overwhelmed me. I could smell, it's almost like they say, oh, welcome, our great-great-great-grandson. You are most welcome. Spiritually, I felt the presence of our ancestors.
1.5 centuries later, the stolen treasures from the palace are returning to their original place after an agreement between the Menchia Palace and UK government.
The Fowler Museum in California has delivered 7 precious items, which will be on display on Thursday. Those things that were taken away from our forefathers.
See, I was thinking they are hearing, they are seeing this. Are you getting this? They said, we'll give you your gods on loan. If you keep them nicely, we'll extend your loan. And the last time I checked, we have African names for witches. And we have also British and English names for a witch. It's called a witch. Whenever you see an African name for something that is supernatural, having an English name, you now know the phenomenon is in every location. Could it be that they understand witchcraft to the extent that they are more acquainted with witchcraft and our old ways of prayer and worship, that they like our African gods more than Jesus? Let me go here, because I can see you're not hearing me. What will cause Western world to steal our gods? Is it because they know the power of keeping those artifacts more than you? I'm not saying it is holy. I'm simply saying, what did they use to defeat us? Because they found the locations where the thing was. They found the locations where their gods were. And when they found the locations, what did they do with the locations? They discredited them. All right? And disempowered the locations by taking the gods and took them to Britain. They didn't leave them in their vaults in Africa. Anytime they got to a location and they wanted to kill Africans, they would ask where the Africans were going and found the location and said, this location is where they are getting power. They will take that point, desecrate it, discredit it, and they say there's no power here. And then they took the gods and go. And then they will start killing you after they take the gods. So what power are they using? Are they using Jesus' power? And then they started fighting us nicely. I speak to someone here. As a matter of fact, I see someone there. I speak to someone here. Under the influence of my voice, I don't care where you come from. I don't care what they have said. By the authority of the Spirit, you will live long to fulfill your calling. But every witch shall die. Every spell is bound in the name of Jesus. Are you still here? Are you still here? I went to Zaka. Do we have those photos? I went to Zaka. I got to Zaka, Zimbabwe African Killers Association. I went to Zaka. I don't know whether we have those photos from that tree. We parked our car, police camp, you know. We get in there. And when we got there, they said, do you see this tree? They said, we know why you're here. Do you see this tree? I said, yeah. So this tree, a juju man came here. Old man. He said, I want to leave my equipment that I used to do witchcraft with. And the police are like, this is the wrong location. He said, I have nowhere to leave them. And if I keep them, I will die. So I now want to leave them. They said, no problem. Are you serious? He said, yeah, I'm serious. He said, point at any tree, I will demonstrate. The policeman in charge pointed at one tree and said, that's that tree. He started chanting some strange chant. I'm talking about just a few hours from here. I went there to the location. The tree you like, he says, I can measure the size of lightning that will hit anything. Technology from another world. He started singing, doing his things, arranging them in order, and pointed at the tree. And the tree was struck by lightning. He said, I can repeat it. Do you think they said repeat? Thank you. You are very, very understanding. The problem with you is, as I said before, you are too westernized. I said you're what? You are too westernized to the point that you can't believe these things are real. So it is easy for the devil to attack you with the same thing that you're not aware of.
So what Prophet Angel actually said, it was true. This really happened in Ghana. In the 18s, that is the 1880s, this thing happened where there was war between the British Army and the Ashanti Kingdom. So the British Army were able to defeat, blast the palace then, the Messiah palace then, and they took away certain items. They looted it actually, and they took it back to Britons. All the artifacts you see was something that was taken during that war. So as it was taken during that war, just recently when the Ashanti Hini was invited for the coronation of King Prince Charles, then he was Prince, now is a King Charles, then Prince, he was invited and an agreement was entered into that this item that were stolen and looted from Ghana, as a part of celebrating his silver jubilee, they wanted to display this item for people to see, because the items don't only have physical value, also have spiritual value and connection to the people of the Ashanti region, Ashanti Kingdom, sorry. So the agreement was entered because the British government has a law. If they can send it on loan, but they cannot give the thing out totally, something that doesn't belong to them, they are not willing to give it out. They said it can only be given on loan. And so the Ashanti Kingdom, like the Greece for instance, there are other items they took from other countries that they went on loan, but the country in question refused, that they will not, it's their item, the British should return it back, not for loan. But the Ashanti king himself from the Messiah Palace said that they entered into an agreement that all those things that were taken by the British should be returned, but this will be done based on loan. It will be done based on loan. So after 2 to 3 years, depending on how the thing has been kept and maintained by the Ashanti Kingdom, especially the Messiah Palace, in their museum, will determine if they can prolong the stay based on the loan of the item. This is very funny. Something that doesn't belong to you originally, and you claim that. And this thing was a lot when it came up. It became a whole lot of conversation within Ghana and even within Africa abroad. When you go online, you can search that they are willing to give this item to Ghana on loan. Items that belongs to the Ashanti people that had deep spiritual connection to their ancestors, and these things were taken from us. So what Prophet Angel was saying is actually true. That thing really happened in Ghana. I think it happened just last year. Yes, that's last year. That agreement was entered when King Charles was crowned the king. When Prince Charles was crowned the king, that was where that agreement was entered that they should return it on loan. Okay, so that was the whole incident that happened. But many people were not happy with it. That if you have something that belongs to someone, why don't you return thing? Because you didn't take it the right way. You didn't buy it. You stole it from the people. And when the people discover that things were stolen from them, it doesn't belong to you, because the British don't have any history like that. Though they have history of monarchy, but their own was not related to gold like when it comes to Africa. So many people raise a question to that when those things really transpired. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Was it good for them to take it on loan, or they should fight that those items be returned back to Ghana? So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section.